welcome to Sapo Studios.
Hello.
We are at Penfield Studios today with Pretty Ugly. It's pretty amazing to be here. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've got Joey, Parker, and Quinn, and we're so excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here in your studio.
Oh my gosh, I might pee my pants. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's not our couch, so go for it.
I might do it.
Yeah, we had Kiana on, and then I thought to reach out to Kim and say, it's been amazing coming to meet you guys at Sound Mind, and then I filmed you guys at the Viper Room, and just thought it would be amazing to sit down and have a conversation with you guys. So we appreciate that.
Are the three of you all native to California?
Only I am.
Okay, where are Parker and Quinn from?
I'm from Denver, Colorado.
Ooh, Denver.
Yes.
I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
I was born in a lab.
Mm-hmm. It's great in a lab.
Undisclosed location. I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
I'm from Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory.
Did you all grow up with a passion for music?
Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely,
I'd say
yes.
so.
There's like a video of me as a little kid when I was like 2 years old, standing on top of a table and singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star," but I couldn't say "Twinkle Twinkle," so I said "Uppa Uppa."
I love when little kids make up words or like change words. My brother would never be able to say the word plum for some reason.
Oh my
So we would tell
gosh.
him plum, and he would go clum.
So cute. I was
your
like, I
brother's
rewatched that
stupid.
video like,
Yeah, my brother's an idiot.
you're so dumb. You don't. There's like 4 words in that song. Just get them right. But
So your first time in front of an audience was at 2 years old singing Twinkle Twinkle, but it really like taking the reins of your talent and performing for people. Do you recall the first time you played in front of an audience? Or sang in front of an audience, as it were?
the very first time, I don't know. We had like school plays in my elementary school, but I don't know.
So you were always a performer.
Yes, born
A star.
star. I don't know. That's crazy. Definitely
I
like
think it
choir
is.
vibes.
I didn't start playing guitar until I was like a little like getting into like performing music and guitar until like high school, like 15 or 16. But I was in choirs and stuff as a kid. And I just remembered a video of probably one of my first choir concerts that my dad took. It's me singing like Gloria. It's like da, 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 all that, and I'm sitting there kind of spaced out singing, and I just start picking my nose on stage. I was like 5 years old. Hilarious. So that's probably one of my first.
I'm pretty sure I saw you picking your nose on stage at the
Oh,
Viper Room
oh,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
It's like a stage guy,
That's
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one of those things.
You know what they say, old habits die hard.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Joey?
I think my first time was in elementary school, and it was a talent show, and I played drums, and we performed "Money" by Jessie J. Is that a song, right? That one, yes.
So why
was great.
for the guys, why'd you guys pick up the guitar? It sounds like you started on drums,
I
but
did start on drums, and then I went to ukulele,
Ooh.
and I fell in love with that because I had little hands, and it was easy to figure that out. And then
What age was that at?
that was probably 2nd grade or 3rd grade. And then it was around 4th grade. My dad taught me like 2 songs on the real guitar, and I was like hooked after that.
This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do you think it was like a sign for your dad that like you were able to pick up the guitar, and you're like, do you think he was happy about that?
Yeah,
Or
we
he's like,
definitely
"Fuck
bonded
yeah."
a lot over that. My brother, he was a good drummer, really good rhythm, and he played piano, but he was not into the guitar at all. He would actually play it like on his lap like a piano and hit it and do stuff like that. But then me and my dad definitely bonded over just showing each other songs, or him showing me and stuff like that.
And Quinn, why'd you pick up the guitar?
I recall being in piano lessons when I was much younger and being like, I hate this shit. I remember my instructor was this Russian woman who had really named Miss Maya. I think she had really strong perfume. Like it was like I would like see stars when she'd walk in the room. So it was just like this thick, dense like rose smell like infiltrating my nostrils and like just awful. And I hated that so much. And then didn't really do music until high school, and I got into like kind of like classic rock and punk bands. Like I got into like Led Zeppelin and like Misfits and Black Flag and all that stuff, and I kind of just thought it was cool and wanted to do it, and didn't really expect to do anything with it. Like I recall saying maybe when I'm like retirement age, I'll be able to play the Stairway to Heaven guitar solo. That was like my goal when I started playing, and then I learned it more quickly than I thought I would, and liked it a lot more than I thought I would, I guess. But yeah, I think I just thought it was cool and wanted to do it, you know.
You know, that must be a thing about piano teachers. My piano teacher back in the day had such heavy cologne, and I will never forget, like, sitting there like, man, that's a strong smell.
I can
That
still
sounds
smell it. I can picture it, like in my head.
Yeah.
Right now.
It's scarred for life.
Mhm.
So how does the passion of doing music turn into, okay, I want to do this as a career?
Not being good at anything else. I don't know. That was that was literally only all I've ever like wanted to do. I think there was like I had a brief stint in the 7th grade where I wanted to be a National Geographic photographer because I went to the museum in Washington D.C. and I saw like the Pulitzer Prize winning photographs, and I was like, if music doesn't work out, I can 180.
But it was still in the arts.
But it was still
Yeah.
in the arts.
So you're at heart. You're
Exactly.
An artist.
And I'm really bad at taking photos, like notably bad at taking photos. So I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, that was like always what it was going to be. Yeah. It was like writing songs, making music.
Is that how you guys feel as well?
Yeah, I actually tried to stay away from music for a long time, and I was like 3 hours away from getting my real estate license, and then did one guitar. Yeah, well, like 3 hours left on like the course thing before you can take the exam.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, I'm gonna do this tomorrow. And then I got a DM from someone to do a guitar session thing for a rapper, and I got to go to a studio and play. And I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Now, why did they reach out to you? Like, were you posting?
He was this
Art,
like I
like-
played volleyball, and he was a big volleyball player, like D1 guy, and he was also a rapper, so I kind of knew him. And then he was in New York when I was there, and his manager reached out and was just like, "Can you come through?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah." Oh my god, holy shit!
Why were you staying away from music?
Just my whole family did it, and I took a AP music theory class in high school, and it felt like work. And I was just like, it's killing the fun out of this. I was like, I can't make this the thing. I just love it. I just want to do it for fun. But then I did that, and I was like, oh, it still can be really fun and still be professional and all this. I mean, it was like a giant party in the studio, but still, it's a little balance, you know?
How about you?
I was planning on being an attorney, and in like trying to do that, I was like, okay, I don't want to go to law school and end up wasting all this time and money and not like it. So I kind of found lawyers and talked to them about what it's like to be a lawyer, and I was like, that sounds terrible. That sounds like the worst thing on the planet. And like their lifestyle seemed like not compatible with what I'd like to live, like a lifestyle I'd like to live.
You can't pick your nose as a
Yeah,
lawyer.
also that, yeah.
How am I
Well, maybe
supposed
you
to pick
can. I
my
don't know.
nose?
I know. But I recall, yeah, I just talked to a bunch of attorneys, and I was like, this seems not for me. And even like the more successful ones were like, who loved it, were still like, yeah, it's really tough, and it's a lot of. And I loved guitar, and I ended up getting kind of like a touring offer while I was in college, and I was luckily had enough credits done or whatever to where I could be a part-time student for my last year, and I toured a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is super fun and awesome, and I love this, and like I couldn't imagine, like once I experienced that, I couldn't imagine not doing it, you know, and even though I was ready to fully, for the most part, do something more straightforward.
You've definitely talked. I remember you talking about like going on tour and then like having to go back to NYU afterwards and like sit at a desk and write, and you're like, what am I doing here?
Yep.
I was just a rock star. Like, what the hell? Why am I sitting down like taking a test right now? I'm literally Lady Gaga.
Yeah, both of my parents are attorneys, and it's like it was a fascinating career in terms of what I thought it could be, you know, being a trial lawyer maybe and going out and like arguing cases, but all of the work in between sounded like just so bad. I mean, my dad is writing like 60-page briefs, and I'm like, yeah, I don't need that in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all.
My mom's a lobbyist.
60-page scripts. That's what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
There's always something like that, you know, no matter what you do, even in music, you're always going to be doing some kind of some equivalent to the 60-page brief, I think.
Yeah. But at least if
For
it's
sure.
something that you're passionate about, it makes it a little bit easier to find that flow, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's interesting that you've had the perspective of kind of like both sides, that you just weren't like forced into, you know, I'm gonna go play music and like figure it out the hard way, but maybe you still had to figure it out the hard way, and I guess we'll find that out as we dive into
Keep
that.
going, yeah.
But I mean, it just goes to show, you know, don't judge a book by its cover, because you guys all seem like natural born rock stars. Just like, honestly. And you know, this guy's going into real estate, this guy's going into law, and I'm like, wow.
Born a star, and then you just like, we're like,
I'm Katy Perry, so.
Like a firework. All right. So was music a focus in your households growing up for all of you? Were your parents into music? Were any of your family members, did any of them play instruments or anything like that?
My grandma will claim that she is has 100% responsibility for every morsel of like talent I've ever shown. Like she takes full responsibility for everything I am and will ever be. I feel like, but also like I didn't like grow up. She wasn't like in my house growing up. Like she was like somebody I like visited and like shared like a love for music with. But like my parents, no, not at all. Like my mom's a lawyer lobbyist. My dad's a realtor. It's kind of funny, both of those things.
And as a
this
result,
is my mother, by the way.
Yeah, right.
This is my dad.
were they still supportive of what you wanted to do then?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were. Yeah.
yes, they've been very supportive. We're a family band, actually. It's really beautiful.
Fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. Of course. Like I was in choir as a little kid, and then there was like a point in time when I was taking voice lessons when I was really small, and then I didn't want to take voice lessons anymore, but I still wanted to go to this like arts, like public arts school in my neighborhood, and they're like, you have to start taking voice lessons again if you want to be able to do that. And so like they were always like encouraging, like,
That's
here's
fantastic.
what you need to be able to do if you want to do if you want to do what you want to do.
I feel like you have such an interesting voice. Are there elements that you kind of like? You have a unique voice, I think, compared to like
Thanks.
a lot of singers that I've heard. And like, do you ever throw some of the vocal training out the window and like lean into like
Yeah.
natural? like
For sure.
how much do you use? I guess.
I guess it depends. I feel like it's really easy to like forget about literally the lifetime of like vocal training that I've had like in the moment when I'm like on stage and I'm like excited and like adrenaline and all that. But I feel like there's like two or three teachers that are like always in my brain telling me to like do the right thing and like to warm up and like to use proper technique and stuff like that. So they're always there, whether I'm listening to them or not. They're there.
Especially with your voice, you can easily hurt your voice if you use it
Yeah.
improperly.
Totally. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, absolutely.
And Quinn, did you grow up in a musical household?
Yes and no. Like my parents, like my mother works in real estate. My dad works in he does.
Oh,
like,
so this is your mom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
It's really weird. I'm still trying to
this is
figure
wild.
it out.
Dynamics got going on.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing, birth and family.
But yeah, basically not particularly musical, but they were like quite encouraging in that regard. And my dad wanted to play guitar, and he claimed he started too late. So there was, and he's like a engineering guy that kind of like he's into gadgets and gizmos and such. So he had like effects processors and cool stuff that he had kind of tried to get into that he had got for a discount when he was working in an electronics store when he was younger. And so I had this kind of weird 80s shit just laying around the house, and that was the first guitar I played was like some strange 1980s. It's called like the Levinson Blade, and it's like candy apple red, and it looks like a Ferrari. You know, it's like super absurd,
Cool.
macho looking
Yeah.
guitar.
Guitar. Like
Yeah, it's like
The hot rod of guitars.
Yeah, it's like it was like kind of fun. It was kind of funny. Even then, I was like, "What the hell is this thing? Like, this is weird." But so no, like no one else in my family, I think, is really musical. But I think they attempted to be, and I benefited from that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And did Joey, did you and Quinn go through any sort of training when you were learning guitar, or were you both self-taught? Because I know that you were saying you did a lot of vocal training.
I had like a few piano lessons because my brother had a piano teacher, so I'd take a couple from her when I was younger.
We all start on piano.
All start on piano.
Mhm.
That's true.
And then I remember I thought I wanted to play bass for some weird reason, and went to that School of Rock
Mm.
Oh, hell
thing.
yeah.
And so I took a lesson. He's like, "Oh, let me tune it for you," and he starts to tune it and just snaps a string, and I was just like, "What? What the fuck?"
What's going on?
That's crazy.
And then never touched
How
it.
was
Yeah.
that place? School of Rock, was it cool?
And that was the only time I went, so I
That was
literally
it.
never went
After
back.
that,
Yeah.
you left. You're like, fuck this.
Yeah,
This
I
guy
was just
has
like-
no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have like I feel like so much of my development I have to thank School of Rock for, like musically.
The movie or the actual school?
Both.
Definitely
This-
the movie.
The movie. No, there was like a summer program that I went to like a couple summers in a row where it was just like a week, and you went and learned a bunch of songs for the week and then like played them to your parents at the end of the week. And like that's like the reason I know like all of the like classic rock bands I know. I feel like I don't know when I would have known about Radiohead or like Jefferson Airplane or like the Foo Fighters or like any of those people if it wasn't for like a bunch of middle-aged men being like, "You're gonna sing Karma Police. You're 11, but you're gonna do that." And
I was
like,
literally
okay.
listening to Radiohead yesterday, thinking like, I wonder if anyone still listens to radio.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
Radiohead.
God. I feel like our
Fucking love it.
generation like really does,
Obsessed,
or at
yeah.
least like
Yeah.
the freaks.
Yeah. All the
Yeah.
freaks.
Yeah, all the
Yeah,
freaks
I
that listen to
I feel
radio.
like it was the movie The Creator that recently came out that had an amazing scene with everything in its right place. And I was just sitting there in the theater like, oh, this is awesome.
There's
I absolutely love that song.
What is it? Is it the Tom Cruise movie? Is it Jerry Maguire?
Jerry Maguire? Yeah.
Or, yeah, where he like, or it's either that or Vanilla Sky, where he like wakes up and no one's around and he's driving his Porsche.
Oh, Vanilla Sky.
Vanilla Sky, and
Yeah.
they're playing that. It's so eerie.
Yeah.
It's in New York. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that scene.
Yeah,
and
no,
that
when
choice.
when those first keys come in, it's just
Yeah.
super cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dude.
they're such vibes. So you three all went to NYU then,
No,
or
only him.
oh okay. So because I read an article that said you met in college. So which college did
Yes.
you go to in New
We
York?
were all in college when we met.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So yeah, so we did meet in college, I guess. But yeah, he went to NYU. I went to the new school, and I always forget what your school is
I
called.
went to SAE. It was an audio engineering school.
Did you going to the new school go to any of those James Lipton talkbacks?
No,
Oh, okay.
I didn't.
Okay.
I have?
Well, no, because I feel like
Should I go
that's
back?
I feel like that's where that whole thing came from, like inside the actor's studio.
That's all
I think.
Will Ferrell. Just Will Ferrell. in
Oh
person.
my God.
What is your favorite word?
No, I didn't. I was like very, very low participating in my college experience. Like I was like going to the classes and then beelining back to my apartment like immediately afterwards, which like if I could do it again, I would probably have spent more time like in the halls hanging out with people.
Yeah.
But I was mostly like, once I met them, I was like, I don't care about anything else other than like going back to Joey's apartment and making music with them. Like
And if you didn't go to the same school, where did you guys actually meet?
I was busking at Washington Square Park
Cool.
with my like jazz band that I put together from a bunch of random.
Weren't a fan
Jazz
of the jazz
folks.
band, Quinn, or you're not a fan of jazz?
Oh, I love jazz. Not that jazz band.
Fair enough.
I remember going, oh, she's really talented. This band sucks. That was what I thought when I saw
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, Quinn like saw me. I think there's like a lot of other moving pieces of it, but like basically Quinn saw me busking with my little jazz band from school, just doing like covers and stuff basically, and then DM'd me on Instagram because I think I had my Instagram like displayed on like a piece of cardboard or something like that, and then was like, hey, I've got a friend Joey who's got a studio.
Is that what I sound like? Hey, I got a friend.
In my like internal monologue reading a DM from a man, that's what they all sound like. Hey, so like your voice is sick, dude.
It's super cool.
I don't know why. That's just what every man that I haven't met yet sounds like, I think. Yeah.
But when you guys started to play music, it just was an instant connection, yeah? Or no?
Like pretty much. I don't know. Like one of
Yeah.
my first memories, or like my chosen memory, is like Joey like played this beautiful like creepy guitar thing, and I like wrote something over it in like 20 minutes, and he was like, chills, and I was like, really, thanks, and I was like, like this is so cool, like this is what I was looking for, and now I like have I've like found it really easily, like pretty seamlessly. Yeah.
I vividly remember, I don't know if it was that session or the second time you came over, but I definitely remember the funeral part because I was just like turned on. I was like, holy
The
shit.
The song's called Funeral.
Yeah, sorry.
We're
It's
not
like,
funeral.
out of
Little bit.
context, I'm
Funeral
like, what's
part?
going on?
Who died?
Yeah, right.
And
Fourth member of Pretty Ugly.
I
It was
was,
really sad.
because I was making songs, me and Quinn, probably like a few months before that.
Yeah.
We're just writing stuff, and both of us can't sing, so we were just like, we need a singer. And we went through like maybe a few, and then once Parker came, I remember she left, and then we walked my dog, and we just talked, and we were like, we fucking found it. Like, holy shit, she's so good, all this, blah, blah, blah.
No, I'm going to ask you, Parker, not them. Can they actually not sing? Because some people say that, and they're just being modest, and they can actually carry a tune.
I don't think I've ever heard Joey like seriously sing.
I could be very on pitch when I joke sing.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
But that's it.
No, that's actually
so
very
funny,
true.
yeah.
Like they'll be like kind of fucking around, and I'm like, you guys are not bad. Like if you tried, I feel like you could do it. I'm also like kind of like radical. Anybody could sing if they tried.
Oh, yeah,
Like
I
I
fully
believe
believe
that too.
Yeah,
Like
I,
I do
I
as
saw
well.
a documentary that was like a doorknob could sing, and I was like, maybe I could try. Like,
Wait.
yeah.
yeah, I mean it's like a muscle. Like we all have like. Why would you not like be able to like we all have the tools, so it's just a matter of just like practicing. I mean, I think people like have like a natural ability, whatever, or like crazy skills and like are blessed and born with different things. Like not everybody can like be Tori Kelly or Beyonce, but like I think anybody
I
can
can.
sing if they went for it.
Like Ed Sheeran
Yeah.
sounded
Yeah.
like trash.
That's
Like
my
we're- like
favorite
did
video.
you hear
Classic.
that?
Yeah.
He was like, "This is what I sounded like," and it's
crazy,
really bad.
like
Yeah.
really bad. And then now he sounds awesome. It's just a muscle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you do have to have a certain level of not being tone deaf, though, right?
He was trash.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's all trainable.
It's all
low
trainable,
key.
yeah.
Like even the most tone deafness, like if you don't work at it, then no. But
Right.
like if you tried, then yeah.
And I think it comes down to like learning to use your ears. Like you might not be even paying attention until you're like, oh, I need to use my ear to while I use my voice. It's like simultaneous at
Yeah.
the same time in some way.
I think it's just like it's embarrassing to like not be good at something also, just like, or it's just like
Yeah.
I don't know, like I've definitely like been scared to like get better at the guitar because I'm like I'm bad at the guitar, so I can't be good at it because I'm bad. And it's like that's like a more of a mindset thing. I don't know.
Bad mindset.
The only limits we have are the ones we put upon ourselves.
Exactly.
Preach.
Who told you were bad?
No one told me I was bad.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Inner monologue.
Like literally. No, literally. And I'm not bad. I just don't know anything.
Actually, at one of our first shows, there's a song where I would give her my guitar and I would sit down and she played a song.
Just like a
We
couple
only,
chords. Yeah. Yeah.
cool. We only
And
did that once.
and that
though.
and that
Mhm.
didn't
we did only do that.
And then
that
I was
didn't
like,
set
let
a
me
fire in you for
focus.
guitar.
No, not really.
From what I gathered from what I was reading, you guys were kind of always a trio, and the guys were sort of more background players, producing the music and things like that. What was the impetus for you guys to switch it up, bring them into the forefront, and become this trio in the limelight?
It was our manager's idea. But I think also
It was natural, I think.
it was natural too. Like I always say that like we all nothing really changed other than like now they're in the pictures with me. Like we were always writing this music together and like performing it together. Like
Yeah.
virtually nothing changed at all other than like having a band name and like having a new artist project established
So it was
basically.
more so about how you guys showed yourself
Yeah.
than what was actually happening behind the scenes. It was always
For
what
sure.
it was behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's way less like isolating too. Like I feel like
Less stressful.
we
I think.
share every amount of stress is split into 3
Right.
stress balls.
And then if someone's talking shit, they're not just talking shit about you. Now they're talking shit about the whole
Yeah,
band.
it's like
No,
if
I'm
my
just
voice sucks, it's like no, they're bad at singing.
Right,
It's not just
exactly.
her.
As you guys see it, what's the most difficult part of turning your passion into a career?
That's a
not having
doozy.
any money.
That's, I don't know. I think
Fear.
music. Yeah, fear. There's the.
I mean, you guys kick ass. So what are you afraid of?
Well, I
thanks.
think there's. Well, yeah. Thank you. I think
no,
there's
I was telling Parker I was jamming out to your music all morning. Like I
Oh, hell
really
yeah.
dig your
Thanks,
sound. So
dude.
Thank
yeah,
you.
like I'm really curious what you're afraid of.
I think sometimes you're, at least for me, I'm like you're walking a line between like, okay, I'm doing this and like you're committed to it, but you're like also
I could be a lawyer right
I
now.
could be doing this. I could be, honestly, there's that. Like you could be doing something else, and music both costs a lot of money and a lot of time to get off the ground. And I could be very well living somewhere else doing something that's more assured and sets me up for a better future. But I'm choosing to risk this, this period of my life to do this, and also hopefully the rest of my life to do this. But if
Yeah.
it doesn't work out, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I feel that
Yeah.
on the money thing, man. It's like I feel like every time we get set up for a production, it's like we should buy this thing because it'll make like this aspect of the video like that much better. I'm like, yeah, I know you're right. But God damn it, that's
Mhm.
another
Yeah, it's
how
like
much we're spending.
$600 and for what? Who notices? Like who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it all builds towards something.
Totally, of course. It's obviously worth it enough for me to like spend $1,500 on a studio apartment every month and commit to it. But yeah, I feel like a lot of my mental health and like strife rests on the thought of like, damn, most people like go to school and then you get your degree and your thing, and then because you have that degree, like you're going to get a job and like you're going to be okay because like you'll have a job. And I'm like, this is my job and it doesn't give me any money. Whoa, that's crazy. that's
Loses
crazy.
you
I'm
money,
committing
yeah.
I'm committing all of my time and energy to not being able to have children in the future or retire.
But what's a really beautiful thing about it, if you think about it, is that takes a really high level of belief in yourself, and to have that sense of belief in yourself is a wonderful thing, I'd think.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
that sense of confidence that
Or it's
you know.
delusional and we're insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a shared delusion. That's cool.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be a little bit delusional to
Yeah.
like step foot into this
Of
world.
course.
And I think a big thing we've talked about on this show a lot with a lot of artists is the idea of fear and how do you like deal with it in those moments and push forward? Because some people just give up based on fear and don't pursue it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So how have you guys like battled that? And do you get fear before you go on stage?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like that, or is it more so of the future?
I used to get terrified before getting on stage, but it's gotten a lot better now. But definitely the fear. I think it was just kind of just like you're scared, but then you just do it and you're like, oh, it's not that bad. I think moving back to LA for me was kind of like that was a big step to, because I really did not want to come back to LA, but it was just like, this is where
Back from where?
from New York.
From New York. Okay.
Yeah, and like Quinn came out and doesn't know anyone here or anything. Like I'm sure that was a giant step for him too, and
Yes.
but that kind of just like launches you into what our plan is and like what we wanted to do. And he was like, oh, it's not that bad. It's actually really fucking fun. So
Yeah.
Music is fun, certainly.
music's fun.
For the
Yeah.
most part, it's quite fun.
I also like personally was like a lot worse off like mentally when I was in New York going
too.
to like jazz school and being like, how am I gonna build this pipeline between jazz school and rock star? Like when like I just had no idea what was. I just felt like I was just kind of like drowning in the like I'm just here, and then meeting them was like the first step of like some clarity and some like future. And now I feel like it feels like every day I like can see, like I know exactly how things can and should work out if I continue
Yeah.
to do it, you know.
I when I was in New York, kind of touch on that. I was living in like in Bushwick in a studio apartment with one other person, which just sucked, and it was infested with cockroaches. So I was like, what the hell am I missing out on here? Like, this is the worst thing ever. And it was just like I was so done with being there, and I was like and not enjoying it at all, not very happy there necessarily. And moving out here just seemed like there was nothing, there was no reason why I shouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point, I was like, this is what I want to do, and what I'm doing now is not working for me, so I have to leave. And I like it here a lot, and I like music a lot, so it's
Yeah.
been good.
Yeah. And it's also like a cockroach is way scarier when you're like, I don't have any songs.
Yeah.
like a mouse running over your feet is like kind of cute when like you're drafting new merch and you're writing new music and you
Little
have
bit
a
more
band
endearing.
and you like are getting like a tour offer or whatever. Like it's cute, and it's not really cute when you're just spending so much money on art school and you have no idea what your life's gonna look like in 3 years or whatever. So
Yeah, definitely the momentum helps when you like find like we're like, okay, we're getting this done and we're playing bigger shows and we're streaming better and all that stuff. Like that just makes it more. It both just feels good in like intrinsically, and also like gives you more hope for what you're going to do later on. I think that helps you keep going. I think.
Do you recall the moment that you guys decided that you were going to take it from we're just playing for the love of the music to let's make a go of this?
that was like always the plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think like it's funny like looking back at like how like overzealous we were like really early on to like I like we had like 2 or 3 songs like written, and we were like, we're gonna put these out like next month, and we're gonna like, and all this shit's gonna happen, and we're still, I feel like sort of like that, like we're like very excited and like not rushed. I don't want to say rushed because it's like we still put like the effort in.
Tempered enthusiasm.
Yeah, I feel like
I
we're
like that.
like it's just funny looking back. Like I have like notebooks of like, here's the schedule. We're gonna finish recording this song. Meanwhile, that song is never going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Like the song that I'm thinking of right now, I never want to sing it again. I never want to play it
You
again. I
recorded
never
like
want to
5
Staying in the
It's
vault.
so
It's
bad.
the worst.
It's like not good in my opinion, but it is like, and it was like the first song we ever made together too. And we were like, this is it.
This is it.
This is
Well,
Best.
to that end, how do you decide when a musical idea is worth pursuing?
Wow.
It's just a feeling.
I feel like you
know.
always.
Yeah,
I
shit.
don't know.
It seems like we feel it within like the first like 20 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as you have that first verse down, and there's all the kind of this moment where like, oh shit, this is like, I remember that with La La La, and you did
Yes,
the verse, and I was like,
exactly.
oh fuck, I think we got
Yeah.
one. Like, this is
Yeah.
awesome.
There's like a, but always will go up and down
Oh my
too.
God, yeah.
Because there's like, especially I think with like a song where you're like, where you have that initial like, oh my God, this is it, this is awesome. Then if there's any moment after that where it feels a little bit not like that anymore, you're like, oh, I was wrong, or like we don't know how to pull this off.
Does it ever take a minute when one of you bring an idea to the group for the others to wrap their head around the direction you want to go in?
I think that's something we're still figuring out.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's like it depends on the song and the idea, but something we've recently discussed that was kind of Joe's idea is like the if one of us has a clear vision for something, we should all just kind of just submit to that and follow that and like try to like fully realize their vision before we all just weigh in on it to which I think like purifies the songwriting process to a certain extent and makes it less messy. So there's that kind of way of thinking about it, which we've changed, but I think we're still figuring out how we write together, I guess.
What made you think that? Like, at what point did you have that vision?
Because like when we were first starting, it was just like we would get together, someone would have an idea, and then it kind of just everyone would kind of just shoot out stuff. But now I think that we've been doing this for about almost 2 years or longer, or whatever. We've hit like a phase where it's like it's so much of like trying to get everyone to be happy and like this is pretty ugly, but like what is pretty ugly? Like we're still finding it. So it's like let's just because we're so good at communicating with each other on like what we want and our feelings and all that. So if someone has a song idea, let them just run with it, be support, and then kind of chime in and then do all that kind of good stuff.
When you talk about making everyone happy, do you concern yourself with how marketable a song is going to be, or do you just focus on the music?
Not too much.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like less marketable, but I think like where we like get into trouble sometimes is like when we like decide too early like what a song is, and then we're like, well, now we have to like do that. Like we like pigeonhole ourselves. Like we
let
like
the music
say,
show you the way.
Yeah.
right? You know, like the songs like transform into like so many different things, and like when they come out, they usually sound nothing like they did when you started them. And I feel like sometimes we start something and we're like, this is what it is, and I know that in like 30 seconds, but it's like, no, you don't know, you never know. It's you never should like have an answer until
I feel
it's
like
like
that's
done.
a very smart that's like growth in producing. You know, I think that's extremely intelligent just as an artist, even like, you know, talking about story ideas or whatever, because sometimes we would shoot down ideas between each other before you even like have the opportunity to see what it looks like on the screen.
Yeah.
So like I think in that way you're like, let's see what the art is before we try to validate it in our mind's eye.
Yeah, like someone will say an idea and it's like you can't know until you hear it. So it's like never say no to anything. Like maybe it's fucking awesome and it makes the song like 100 times better. Right. Just try everything.
So there's so many instances of me being like, ugh, to like one of their ideas or like a producer's ideas, and then I just have to be like, just let me cook. Let them cook.
Yeah, see what
Give them a
happens.
second.
Yeah.
And then it like within like minutes, I'll completely 180 my perspective on it. So yeah, it's a huge just like trust the process.
And also, if you overthink it, you can get really neurotic and weird about your own stuff. Like you can just listen to it over and over again, which I struggle with that, where I go like, I want this, and I will listen to it over and over again and like try to discern what the song is, and it can cause you to like lose perspective and lose objectivity on your own writing, which is I think an issue I would assume everybody struggles with, just because like you overanalyze your own work a lot. But recently we've been like the last few days we've been just writing songs with zero kind of expectation or like attachment or intention really, and just kind of like we're like, okay, what is the song? Let's just follow that path and not really give a shit what the end result is, and then we figure out at the end if we like it or not. You know,
It seems like a fairly democratic process between the three of you, but is there ever one person that kind of has the final say, like, okay, this is the direction we're gonna go in?
I don't think so.
I'm the group leader,
Yeah.
so
La comandanta.
So they don't get to speak their minds until I say that it's okay.
we have 3 conversation tokens a day. I've already used
Yes.
mine today.
We have a talking stick.
You're not holding the conch shell, you can't speak.
Conversation tokens is awesome.
But I would say no.
No,
we're
yeah.
pretty-
I think like there was a song like I didn't really like, and Parker's like, well, like we're not doing it until like you like it. We all have to like it, or else like why are we doing this? And I'm like, that's so awesome to have that.
Yeah,
support.
absolutely. Like I've definitely heard them throw out like, yeah, well, this one's not my favorite. I'm like, well then what can we do to make it your favorite? Like, it has to
Yeah.
be your favorite.
Gentle parenting.
I can't like be excited by myself. We're in a band together now. Like I can't be the one. Like, it was one thing when it was like they were like managing me or like, you know, like making the songs with me. And now it's like, no. We need to all be like hype as fuck to play the songs all the time.
Listening to your music, it sounds like you span across a lot of genres. Is there a name that you would call the genre of music that you play?
No.
I mean, I feel like that's like you not
Yeah.
wanting
I
to
don't
box
know.
yourselves in, which
Pretty
is
ugly
great.
music.
Pretty
ugly.
ugly.
Yeah, hell yeah. Paving your own way.
Low key, I don't like. I hate to be like, we are the genre, like in that way. But like, we have kind of like described our like artist project title as like describing like the type of music that it is.
That's really cool.
In a way, because sometimes it's pop and sometimes it's rock, and usually it's like some hybrid of the two in like some sort of way. But I feel like it is like Eat My Words is like and then Face is like la la la, you know, and then so
We also try to, in the production process, blend like a good degree of like synthetic and live elements. So like we'll do, like we like to have the sort of. We have a song called Duality, so I'll say duality. Like there's a sort of duality to the music in the sense that we take like machine drums, then we'll throw in live drums in the chorus, or we'll have like live guitar performances that might be like more grungy and intense over like a very on the grid, strict minimalist pop thing, and like we try to just blend as seamlessly as we can. Try to blend a lot of different genre elements to create like a cohesive thing, which is quite difficult in our experience, I think, but we're trying.
yeah. I've been having this thought in my brain for the last like 2 minutes, which is like I feel like we kind of like constantly are trying to do every cool thing at the same time across like. Which like sometimes gets in the way because it's like, is anything cool if everything is cool? You know, like.
I don't know. You guys are pretty cool.
Thanks. Stop. But yeah, it gets confusing, but we're figuring it out.
So, Eat My Words. First official song that you guys released as the new band. Who wrote that song?
All of us.
We all wrote.
Or who brought the initial idea to the group? Because it sounds like that's
Oh.
kind of how these things start. Is
It
that someone brings an idea to the
It
group?
was Quinn, right?
It was actually a dog.
Yeah, it was a dog.
Yeah, it was a dog.
It was a large, she was watching this
Yeah.
like large greyhound that was like, it was so skinny I could like see its circulatory system. Like I was
Yeah.
like
It
looking
was
at its
scary.
veins.
Looming
wow.
ghost of a dog,
Creepy little
just
sucker.
like big eyes, really skinny.
I think it had like mild cataracts too, so it was just like staring through you, and it was like the long
Something.
nose, like really weird.
So cute though. I love greyhounds.
Yeah, very,
They're
very
so
cute dog.
weird. They're such freaks.
Oh yeah, sounds adorable.
Yeah.
Could see through its
He
skin. It's
was,
got
he is.
glazed over eyes.
Yeah.
Thing was adorable.
But he was just kind of creepy in like a cute way,
We're
and that
trying to-
made Quinn like start playing the guitar in like a way.
Yeah, like
basically.
I was really into like Django Reinhardt and like 1920s jazz stuff, and that's got this kind of like like you know like the Ratatouille soundtrack where it's like do 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 like all
Gypsy
that shit,
jazz.
gypsy jazz they call it, yeah. And so I was just watching, looking at the dog and like playing that, and then we're kind of like, oh, this is fun, and we're kind of like, let's make something inspired by that type of music that's a little creepy but also like heavy and fun and like kind of more modern than jazz from Paris in the 1920s. You know, it's not a huge market for that right now.
Right.
But, and so like that is kind of all throughout the song, like on a chordal level, it's like very inspired by like those people and like pieces like Zardos, it's like a violin piece, and like all kinds of that type of music. And then even in the bridge, we kind of like really just get literal with it, with the jazz influence. Like we just
Yeah.
actually have a jazz section, basically, like a cabaret kind of thing. So that was, I guess, kind of where that comes from in a lot of ways.
Sure. And when I was looking at the lyrics of the song, Say You Love Me, Take It Back, Life's a Fiction, That's a Fact, between the name Pretty Ugly, which I believe comes from your merch line, right, Parker?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So between like that name, which is, you know, an oxymoron juxtaposition of itself, and the lyrics of the song, is that like a theme for you guys, juxtaposing concepts? Where does that
Yes.
come from?
Definitely. It's like all over the place. Like, I think that's also sort of my technique to like get started with like writing something or like that's my like approach poetically and like lyrically is like, how can I compare and contrast and like make these two opposite things the same or different and like talk about their differences. That's like, I just do that naturally a lot. And we have like another song that's not out yet called Duality, and that's about like being bisexual and having divorced parents, and like everything is two things.
Right.
Nothing is one thing. And I think that's just like a theme.
Yeah, and I mean, shit, even your sound isn't one thing, you know? It's
Exactly, yeah.
which is
We just do it on accident too.
Yeah.
Like we were
Yeah.
like planning out a music video idea 2 days ago, and like the vision right now is that it's like split screen, and like it's not even intentional. Like we're not like we have to do the Pretty Ugly half and half thing. It just like always happens. It's like there's always two things.
yeah, it's ingrained in you.
Yeah.
And in the music as well, like I was saying earlier, with the trying to combine different genres and elements. Because like we both we create songs that are of different genres, and within those songs, there's also different genres, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like some of them will be more straight ahead. Like Eat My Words, for example, is much more of a straight ahead rock song, and Face is, for example, much more of a straight ahead pop song. But if you look at like La La La, that has like kind of like a minimalist pop sound to it, but there's also like quite heavy distorted guitars and sort of weird stuff in
But
there.
even Eat My Words kind of starts off a little bit more mellow and then kind of leans into that rock. So it's got that, you know,
Yeah.
feeling of different genres there as well.
Mm-hmm.
When Parker, you wrote La La La, or brought the idea to the group, excuse me. I know that it's like the writing is a collaborative
No, it's okay.
process.
It's just different like every time.
Yeah.
Like the most consistent thing is that I write all like the melodies and lyrics like 99% of the time. And then they usually are bringing in like all the instrumental pieces, and then like as we move forward, like they'll suggest things to me and
We'll
I'll
throw in
suggest
like a
things
word
to
or
them.
two or something. Like it's always like she'll like tell us what to play a little bit, and we'll like tell her what to say a little bit. Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
exchange.
Like I'm writing guitar parts with like my mouth sometimes, you
Yeah.
know. But like
But even for
But
La La
yeah.
La, you did we all got in a circle. She had a little drum machine. I was on bass and he was
Yeah.
on guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And
we
it was
did all like produce La La La.
Yeah,
like
it was
together,
like
yeah.
45 minutes of like nothing, and then she
Mhm.
had the drum beat down, and then I just did the bass thing, and then it was just like, oh, okay, this is something.
Yeah, there's
Cool.
like
Yeah.
some voice memo. You can see it like just slowly.
There's like
turn
a
into
40-minute
song.
voice memo
Yeah.
and like the last 3 minutes.
And then we're like,
La
oh,
La
fuck,
La.
it's
And I
song,
feel like
yeah.
that's so interesting because some people might stop playing at like 35 minutes because
Yeah.
they're like, man, this is fucking stupid. But it's like
No,
in
you
those
have to
last
push
few
through.
moments, it's
Oh, we
like there's
definitely-
where it's like magic.
Yeah, we
you know?
definitely said that around like 25 minutes. We're like, what the fuck are we doing? This
Mhm.
is just sounds.
We
Now we know.
we
You
used
have
to
push
do
through.
scratch track sessions on the podcast where we would like live jam and stuff like that, and our other business partner would call them dink dink sessions because we dink dink on the guitar and the keys, and it's like when you start to listen to it, it's like, what are these people doing? And then like you're saying, around the 20-minute mark, 25-minute mark, like things start to come together. It's like, wow, this is turning into a song now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it just builds and builds, and it's like you have to have that patience and give yourself to the creative process.
It's literally like
Absolutely.
right when you lose all hope, you like just kind of like start over and like find it. Yeah.
It seems like that was part of like your experience that probably led you to say, you know what, let's all just see the music out until
Yeah, let's just
until
keep going
somebody
until
judges it. you
yeah.
know, like,
Yeah.
I think that's super important for all artists to hear that. Like,
Mhm.
take your time
Yeah.
in some way. Don't rush through. Be like, oh, there's nothing here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't.
But it's also switching up the process. Like we did that for a while, and then we like tried doing it again after like a few months. We're like, this isn't even fun anymore. Let's try a different way to write a song. And
Yeah,
then
got to
Mhm.
shake things up.
exactly.
Looking at the lyrics of La La La, you act so shitty, but I want you so near, so happy and healthy. You took that from me. Now it's hard to get clean. I'll keep your dirt on me. The more you sound pretty, the less you're sincere. Based on the lyrics, this relationship sounds drenched in manipulation, lies, but there's like something exciting and seductive that like keeps drawing you back in. When you finally separate yourself from that, is that like the ultimate catharsis to write a song like this?
Yeah, that particular song is like not about a person necessarily. It's
Okay.
kind of like that
It's
particular
just about
an
song-
idea?
It's about the dog.
It's about that damn dog.
Eat My Words. Yeah.
No, like yeah, I don't know. That song was just like we put that drum beat down, and then he was like do do do, do, and I was like, I feel sassy right now. I'm gonna get mean. Like I'm feeling bad bitch right now. So I kind of like channeled like every person I've ever been mad at the same time, sort of, and then like in the bridge, like blame like my coldness on another person I've been mad at. So it was kind of like I just like. Let's like shake some ass and be mad, but like not at anybody in particular.
So your songs aren't necessarily like all true to life. Like, you know, when you're looking at a song like Grave, that's not, you know, you murder confessing.
No,
Yeah,
that's
right.
yeah.
Do not go to Lake
Yes.
Tahoe.
Where are the bodies buried? Where
yes,
were you
that's
on March
right.
14th?
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Like that's also like another angry at every man ever song basically. And that was similarly I guess to La 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 was like that guitar part was laid down and I was like we're in a saloon, like we're in the Wild West. I need to like talk about whiskey and like killing someone right now. And it was like there's not a person necessarily, but I was like, and then the killing turned into like a whole like fuck all men thing basically.
It's really cool. It's like storytelling.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
Like, it's like you're creating a little movie.
Poetic
and
license
stuff.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
To use your imagination and play, and that's a lot of fun.
I mean,
Yeah.
one of the lyrics is like talking about your first date with your current boyfriend. You're very happy.
Oh my god,
with.
yeah,
it's
that's
like
also so
clearly not
crazy.
a-
I
yeah.
told him this and he like loves this now and he like brings it up all the time, which is that like I was like texting during that session with my current boyfriend before we were dating, and he has long hair and like pretty eyes, and so the opening lyric is the man had long hair, eyes of glass, he was a sight to see. And then I was like, let's write as if I want to kill this guy. let's write the rest of the song as if I'm gonna list the many ways that I would kill this man.
Yeah, and he's like,
Meanwhile,
that's great, and
just-
he's like secretly wondering, he's like,
he's
is
like,
she
"Am I
serious?
good?"
Yeah.
No, it's just so funny because in the moment I'm like, yeah, this is just like some guy from Hinge that I'm talking to. Like there's a different reality out there where I'm talking about this exact same thing and I wrote the same song, but it's still just like some guy, and now he's still in my life, which is just kind of funny in like a very important way.
You guys recently played the Viper Room. Dave was there as a photographer, videographer. He told me that you guys had an epic set. Wish I could have been there. But there was also then an article released that Danny Klein wrote through Spin magazine. I was reading it, and he said that for anyone that wasn't there and missed it, that there was an undeniable feeling when you witness a rising band make their mark. Did you know when you walked off the stage that you absolutely crushed it? Did you have that feeling?
I never know or trust anybody
Yeah.
about how a show went until like 24 hours have gone by. Like,
It gives you a minute to step away and reflect.
yeah, like there's too much like adrenaline and like to like I think have like an actual opinion.
And actually, Rob was saying that he was like, I don't even think they knew what they experienced just now. He was like, even it being after being on stage, like they're probably still way up here.
Yeah.
There's
They
like an
can't even-
adrenaline high.
Like yeah, you can't even like.
You don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you
You
can't.
also can't really hear, like, especially that show, I couldn't hear anything except for bass and drums. So I'm
Mm.
like, maybe it sounded good. I have no idea what they're hearing, so.
It sounded epic.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you. Thanks.
What's your favorite aspect of live performance?
I like the for some reason it gives me this intense mindset of like I'm like a not competitive person, but when I get up there, I get like super intense, super competitive, super zoned in, and I'm like ready to like this is. I think it's the adrenaline surge that I love, and like it's on like a physical level at least. I love the feeling of like being up there and how intense everything feels, and how like it feels like kind of like a fight or something. Like it's just so like you're just so focused and zoned in, and also it's just good to show people your music and have fun and get better. Like that I like on a more like conceptual level. I really think that playing live and helps you dial in your sound and improve as a musician, and kind of informs the songwriting process in a lot of ways. Like our first singles we played live for a long time before releasing them.
Out, yeah.
And I think that like there are certain parts in them that I know would not be there without us playing live. So I think it's like it's both a like visceral physical experience that's great, but it's also a like a learning thing that informs your creative process, I think.
Quinn treats live shows like there's like a $10,000 prize at the end, and we might not win it if we don't like send it. Like Quinn treats like it's like a game show, and there's people to like beat. Like,
So
it's like a competition.
for you, it doesn't matter if the audience is energetic or not, because you're just going. You don't need that energy to feed off of.
Yeah, I mean, I get so intense into it. Like I've like blood in my guitar a few times. Like
Oh, wow.
like massively all
like
over
a
it.
lot of
Like
blood.
A lot of
like
times.
a shitload of blood.
like almost a concerning amount of
Like
times.
I'll like drop my pick and I'll just start like punching my guitar.
Oh,
Literally.
okay, so like
sure.
the blood's from your hand.
Where is the blood coming from?
Yeah. No, my strumming hand. I use these like tiny little guitar picks called Dunlop Jazz 3s, and they're easy to drop, and they also like don't make great contact with the strings when you're.
They're terrible.
He hates them. I love.
So
If
stupid.
you're playing like if you're playing intricate kind of like stuff, like lead stuff, it's good. But if you're playing chords, they're dog shit. Like frankly, and so I get really intense with it, and I mean, I could show you guys. There's photos of it and stuff, but like just blood all over the place and sweat all over the place, and like I usually like shake after. Like I'm like
Quinn's favorite part of the shows is bleeding.
Well, at least it's a facilitation of your playing, because like I know this band Ted Leo and the Pharmacist that I love, that the lead singer, I've seen him perform live, and when he gets super into things, he takes the microphone and smashes it against his forehead. So he's like, bah, and like all of a sudden he's like bleeding out of the fire. It's like, that doesn't seem necessary for the song.
Like if Quinn was the lead singer, he'd find a way.
If I was singing, I would do that probably.
He would do that. Like it
Sounds
would,
like your
it's,
style.
It's not the guitar. It's him. He would find, if he was playing the glockenspiel, he'd find a way. Like Quinn would
The
find a way with a
glockenspiel.
triangle. Quinn would find a way with a cowbell. Like it's gonna happen, no matter what.
Joey, what's it like to be the first person in your family to be on this side of the music industry, the performing side?
The performing side. I don't know. I mean, I've heard my dad played in a bunch of bands when he was younger. So
Was he trying to pursue that as a career at that point, or was that just a
I think the story he told us kind of recently was he would play with these bands, and he was younger than everyone, and still thought they all sucked. So he was like, "Why can't I just play all the instruments?" So he got a little 4-track, and then did that. And he was like, "Oh, I like producing."
And he's like, oh, that's what a producer
That's
does.
what a producer does.
Yeah.
So he did all that kind of thing and got into that. And I did not want to be in a band at all. I was terrified of being on stage, and I loved producing. I was like, loved engineering, loved all that stuff. But then I kind of just started doing it more and more. And then it wasn't really until, once we moved to LA, loved it, but it wasn't until the Pasadena show, and Quinn got me really drunk and was like, because we're playing to like 10 people. It was like a woodshed show.
Oh, that was the Ye Old Pub or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun on stage, and I was like, this fucking rocks. Like, holy shit. Now I understand why Quinn's bleeding on stage. This is fucking fun. And yeah.
That's cool. When you guys perform live, do your songs always come out differently? And if so, is that intentional?
Yeah, I mean, there was a point in time when we were like making records, like really actually making records for the first time to like put out, where we were like, how are we gonna like blend the studio and the live performance into one thing and have that be like our consistency? Like if we don't have a genre, we at least have like the consistency of like the songs sounding like a blend of like in the box and like live and like real and stuff like that, basically. So I definitely, at least like from like a like record to live standpoint, yeah.
I mean, I improvise a ton on stage. Like every show I play, using my parts slightly different. Like there's some things I'm like, okay, I gotta hit that one. Gotta hit, like there's like a certain integral part of the song that serves some kind of purpose. But like if I ever take every guitar solo I usually take is different. Every like I'll play chords differently. I'll use different effects sometimes. It just depends what I'm feeling. And if there's like a noise section, and so like some of our songs have a like, okay, make a weird guitar noise. I'll just be like, okay, fuck it. I don't know. Clicking all these on, see what happens, and then like hit the whammy bar. Make. It's just about like for me, experimentation, and like a lot of times you make something up and it ends up being cooler than what you were doing. And I'm also super inspired by like the guitar players that I initially got into were heavy improvisers. Like I love Led Zeppelin a lot. I did a lot when I was younger, and I loved how they would always just jam for 30 minutes. And like I don't want to per se do that with this project. I don't think that would make sense, but I think that kind of spirit makes live music a lot more fun.
Yeah, I mean, the first person I thought of when you were talking about all that was Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, and it's just so awesome to see him figure out different and new sounds by doing all sorts of weird things. I was recently watching something where he was just playing with feedback, and he's like, this is how I did this on one of the songs, and he goes and turns up this, and he's like, pop, 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 pop. And you're like, what? Like, where did you think to do that?
So cool.
One of our recent songs, or like we're working on right now, that we're probably gonna release sometime later this year, Bite. We were trying to make a weird like transition sound for the chorus, and I took an inhaler, like my asthma inhaler, and then plucked behind the bridge of a Les Paul and made this like squeaky whale noise. It was like do 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 do, and slid it down.
So sick. It's
and it's like shit like that. I think just makes music fun. And we even will like consciously overdub noises. Like I remember we were doing Eat My Words. It was like I took this. I had this guitar with a button on it, and I have a label on it that says "Do Not Press," which I smashed the guitar, unfortunately. But it's a kill switch. You can turn the signal of the guitar on and off, which is kind of like a Tom Morello kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so
you in that video.
I was hitting it and like it was making this weird noise, and then Joey chopped it up in some way, and like that's at the end of the first chorus. Eat my words. It's like da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, it's so
Yeah,
cool.
most records will, once we have like the structure, we'll just kind of loop him 4 times through, and then
Yeah.
we'll find like the best 4 parts.
It's like
and
noises.
kind of just put them in.
That's
Quinn
super cool.
and just like this band and just making music has like made me realize how many noises in like records are from a guitar that you would not think are from a guitar. Like I feel like before listening to music, I'm like, there's probably a billion different like wacky instruments on here, and it's like no, like 90% of all these noises are just like all the crazy different things you can do with a guitar.
Well,
It's
even
so
you
psycho.
bring up Led Zeppelin. You know, they started to use the from the violin,
The bow.
the
Yeah.
bow, yeah,
And
against the strings, and you know, no one had really ever done that before, and like that was a unique sound that came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super cool.
And like on, I think on La La we have like we take that attitude into the studio also, even when creating.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
even sometimes even before we'll do something. Like I remember there's a guitar part on La La Joey played, and we were like, okay, reverse the middle, fuck it, and it sounds way cooler. Like he's doing some some kind of muted thing, and we just flipped the middle of it, and it just sounds way cooler. It's just experimentation.
That's how Sweet Child of Mine came about. It was like a pentatonic scale. They reversed it, and it's like, oh, that sounds great
Dude,
for a
it's
song.
Such secret swag. Everything reversed sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this missing? Just put that in reverse. You're like, yes, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
I have a question. So you guys produce your own music. Do you like engineer and mix it all, or do you have someone else do that?
We've been working with some other producers too now, but definitely in the beginning we were all just producing it out and engineering it. But we definitely went to other mixers. I mix, but I cannot mix our stuff for some reason. What?
You did a good job on the bite one.
Oh
Like
yeah,
rough
I
mix.
do like little rough mixes for us just to like show like what we want, so then we can give to the mixer. But
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're giving them a framework, because I was going to ask if it's hard to give up that control, having done that producing for yourself before.
mhm. Yeah, I mean we're working with the last few songs has been with Mark Needham, who's like an absolute legend. So I'm never like
Great
he's
mixer,
gonna fuck
yeah.
it up.
Right.
No, I'm gonna learn a lot from him. I can't wait to get it back, kind of thing.
I think there's something if you have someone who's mixing who you trust to exercise their own creativity on it, it's actually kind of a relief. Because you go, okay, here's this guy has got all of his equipment, all of his shit, all of his taste, all of his years of experience, and he can go, okay, here's the good and the bad of the song. I'm gonna like get rid of the trash and make it sound cooler. And like we'll send stuff to him or other mixers, and there'll have been things we muted, and they'll bring back in and make sound different, or they'll add their own sauce to it, and it makes they can just elevate the song so much based on their own taste.
A set of ears that you guys don't have, like sitting
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
It's just like fresh. That's what you
perspective.
want
Yeah.
to give to a mixer, and a good mixer is gonna do the stuff Quinn's talking about. And like I learned that through going to these really pro mixers and being like, oh, I'm not just making their rough mix sound better. You can actually apply some of your own stuff to it and give it a sound.
For sure. Looking at the lyrics of the song The Line, no one means what they say, I believe anyway. Now, I know we've gotten this idea now that, it's not everything you guys write is literally from your lives, but is that something that you guys believe to a certain respect, that a lot of people are full of shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like wrote that alongside the kid who produced it with us, Liam Jones. And so he kind of like helped me with the lyrics in that instance, which we don't do that often, but I liked doing that with this song. But yeah, that was specific to like my like self-sabotaging, like expecting things from people who didn't owe me anything. Like, why don't you love me? We met 2 weeks ago, kind of thing.
And
How you're not in love with me?
Speaking to your personal experiences, I want to ask you, as a female in the industry, a lot of female artists, whether they be actresses, singers, photographers, painters, it seems like it's difficult for women to navigate these creative industries because you're demeaned, cast aside, not treated as equals, sexualized. What's your experience been navigating the industry?
I think none of that's true. I think it's easy to be a girl in every way. I think being a girl is easy, and everybody's just kind of like freaking out about it. It's not that big a deal.
Hot take.
Hot take. It's normal. There's no wage gap. That's fake. I don't know. My life is like there's a lot of men in my life. Like it's mostly like, and it's like, I'm used to them, like they're genderless to me. We're like family, but like, I don't know. That's difficult. I think there's like instances of like explaining myself and like my perspective like more than I probably would have to like girl producers or girl like writers or stuff like that.
Sure.
Like they've definitely noticed like songs like speaking to like girls in our audience and being like, and yeah, like Rob the other day was like, I don't know why they love it, I don't get it, but it's great. Like I'm glad they do. Like I think there's like some like extra explaining of like my lyrical content that I do like for them sometimes, or just
Because we're stupid.
because they're just tiny little boys with
We're
tiny little
stupid.
brains.
Tiny
Stupid with
brains.
They
tiny
can't help
brains,
that they're
smooth
tiny
brain
boys with tiny
morons.
brains.
Well,
It's
you know,
not their fault.
when
We
they
have room temperature IQs. So dumb.
No, like they get it. I don't know. Yeah, it's just like it's like a life perspective that I think I'm writing from that like sometimes I don't realize is like a more feminine perspective.
Well, and
you know?
and to that end, when either of them ever suggest lyrics, do you ever say we need to add a little bit more of the female perspective to what this idea is?
It's more been like there's been instances where like we're screaming, like doing like a gang vocal screaming thing, and then it's like this needs to be a woman screaming though.
yeah.
Like this has to be this song is feminine rage.
Sure.
Like if I can't sing about wanting to kill all men in the Wild West and then like Quinn scream. Well, Quinn screaming because I killed him is cool, but like, but like there's
And
yeah,
he's
there's,
already
like,
bleeding, so.
right, exactly. He might be in pain. Maybe we
Right.
should help him out. I don't know. You know, like yeah, there's like another song we were working on or that we've worked on where we like did the gang vocal thing and like Quinn's loud so you can like hear him, and I'm like we need to like love Quinn, but this song has to be like my anger if it's to be
Yeah.
if we're like to tell the story accurately, if we're like to like connect with the girls that we have been connecting with in the past. Or like yeah, like our next song that's coming out, Waste Your Time, July 5th.
Yeah.
Be ready.
Yeah.
Set your reminders.
Yeah. Is like about my relationship with my mom, and I feel like there's not another type of relationship that can replicate like a daughter and a mother's like in any positive or like negative light. Like there's just no other thing.
Which
like
it was awesome that your mom was at the Viper Room and
Hell
she was like
yeah.
in the
Oh,
front
yeah.
row, and it was like, yeah, that was really awesome.
Dude,
Just to
that's
witness
like
that, yeah.
that's one of my favorite parts of the live shows is that my mom is almost always there. She's pretty much
Mhm.
almost never missed a show, a Pretty Ugly show since we've been a band, and like the San Diego show we played recently was like the most fun because I was like my mom's right there, and I watched like 15 people turn and look at her, and I was like I hope she's okay. But then like people were coming up to her after the show and being like, that's so sick that your daughter loves you, like you must be a good mom, and I'm like she is.
And it's so
So-
nice to have that family support. I mean, Dave's mom listens to damn near every one of our live shows, and
Hell
it's
yeah.
it's just
That's
so
so
cool
awesome.
to like always see her on the screen,
I
and,
might
and
cry.
I love that. Yeah.
I literally might cry, dude.
Yeah. Number one fan, and I absolutely love it.
I think we all love our moms a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mom's the
for
best.
sure. And yeah, it's like everybody has a different dynamic with their parents. Like I also remember like at this like one of the most recent LA shows we did at 1720, I like said like my mom's in the audience, who loves their mom? And I like saw certain people like yeah, and I saw certain people like no. Like, and I was like,
You
oh,
lost
shit.
me.
Like I just brought up like a sore spot for some people. So it's like, and that song like touches on all of it. Like the song's thing is like, I don't want to waste your time. Like, because you mean so much to me and you've done so much for me. Like, I don't want to like be a like hindrance or an annoyance to you. And then like realizing I could never be annoying to my mom because she'll love me no matter what and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it's like
And
personal to me and personal to like my womanhood and stuff like that.
makes sense. And I just want to clarify, Mom, I love you. You know, I love his mom for listening to live shows. I know you listen to the replays. You know, I wasn't. You get it. You get it.
Come on, Mom, you get it.
You get it, right?
funny.
So AI is playing a large part in the in
Allen
in,
Iverson.
Yeah, right. Exactly. In this idea that people's jobs are going to go away, there's the counter argument that it's not AI that's going to take your job, but someone that knows how to use it really well. It just, you know, that's a great argument for someone that's not in like the music industry, but for someone in the music industry, someone now can like type a prompt in and create a whole song. Does that scare you as artists that technology exists? Because it can be someone that really doesn't have any basis or foundation in knowing anything about music. They're just typing what they want the feeling to be, and then it kind of is created.
I have two thoughts on this. The most immediate one is if they can, so can I.
Sure.
And I happen to have musical talent, and so that might be better, right, than someone who doesn't have musical talent. I would assume so. Also, like I think there's a certain value to live performance that is really important to a lot of people. Not all people, but a lot of people. And I think that that's difficult to replicate without people and without talent. And so I think unless there's like a totally like fake thing going on, with 0 people on stage, people like, even when you see a DJ, right? Like that people like looking at the DJ, like twist the knobs and shit and go like, yeah, here's the bass drop, like that's like, I just saw videos of the Fred Again concert and, there's like thousands of people there just watching a guy just kind of go do that. Like if that's entertaining and worth the ticket, like surely a band is to people who like bands, right? And so there's that. And also like I think that when you say someone will use AI really well, like I would think that a musician would use it better. And like I would have no qualms with being like, I want this drum loop right now. So if I type in I want this drum loop in 7/8 using these tones to an AI and it gives me it, that's just more convenient production. And like while I prefer to be like very when actually making a song, I would prefer to go over it inch by inch and see what works and what doesn't, and like do it myself, I guess, or with them or with whoever. I think it's a tool, and I think maybe we'll use it, maybe we won't, but I don't think it's going to totally replace musicians anytime soon. I don't really see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with respect to like it being all about the feeling, right? Because we were recently at Cinegear, which is like this film expo. It was at Warner Brothers this year, and it's everyone showing off the latest and greatest in film technology. And there was this stunt driver that drives these cars with these huge camera rigs on the back. And I was asking him a similar question. It's like you can create a car commercial with no people in it that looks like someone shot it professionally now, and just dream that up, and it's so easy. Like, is that going to kill your job? And he's like, there are people that are doing that. I just talked to a guy that did 4 Nissan commercials all in front of his computer, but he misses being out in the field and doing that, and he'd much rather have that feeling of actually, creating that commercial and that visceral feeling of being in it. And I think that's, even actors I've heard talk about, like they'd rather, instead of being on the green screens now on the sound stages, be out on location. And I think there's something to be said about, embracing that feeling of the realness.
Yeah, I think it's all music, TV, movies, all of it. I think it's just about capturing a moment, and it's kind of hard to do that when it's generated through an algorithm.
Yeah.
But it still helps. Like, I mean, we use it sometimes for not writing songs, but making the song sound better with like a AI master, or getting a little sound buzz out of a guitar. Like, we still use it a little bit. It still helps.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, tool is like a really good way of putting it, because it's also not real. Like every AI thing is like collected information that already exists. So you're not ever going to make something new. So like you could, ask AI to make like a Pretty Ugly song, but it's gonna have like all of our songs in it. That's not a new song. Like that's not a new thing. So like, and I like literally, I have this thought every time I see a concert of like somebody that I love. I have the thought of like their brain is in the room with me right now. Like I'm like honored to be in the same room as like the mind that wrote this song that I love. And also like anytime I like know the words, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm singing this song with them. Like if no one else was here, it would be me and this person singing the song together that I love. Like, oh my gosh, me and Taylor Swift are in a room together singing her song.
That's actually really trippy. I've thought of like similar like vibes of being at a concert. Be like, oh, maybe I can like catch some of their energy or something
exactly.
like that. But like
we're breathing the same air.
That's
I'm
a
singing
really
this with you.
Interesting aspect.
Yeah. And that's just something that I think about at every show I go to. Back to like his comment about live shows, like that it just like can't. You literally won't make something new, because AI in its essence is just like repeating and like combining. It's not new information.
So you haven't thought about replacing the guys with AI?
Sometimes these guys.
Speaking to that, is it wild to see your audience singing back your lyrics?
They're usually my friends.
No, even
who I
so.
forced to learn the words.
Even so, I mean, that's like that's
Yeah.
got to be pretty cool.
That's one of my favorite parts too. Like our song, like in our song "Grave Mistake," they're like na 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 na. I always get the audience to sing along with us, and that's like my favorite thing. Even if like they've never heard the song before, and I'm kind of forcing them to do it because I've definitely been in the like audience participation situation. Like if the people right next to me don't sing too, then I don't want to do it.
Right.
It's like it's time. I can sense the shyness, but it's like cute. It makes me feel like we're singing together. Like,
Yeah.
This is a party.
Sharing a feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not about me. It's about us.
I actually have 2 more thoughts about the AI thing. Not to get off track.
No,
I just thought
please.
about-
Yeah.
Maybe just one more thought, but I was thinking about AI and then thinking about people's consumption habits as like general consumers in America, and like I think like I'll see people, they'll pay $500 for like the Cure like tour T-shirt from 1985, or like you see someone driving a restored Ford pickup truck without power steering or air conditioning or any kind of modern comforts or even airbags. It's like. Or like people buy they'll buy a handmade razor that costs $500. Like they'll just buy shit that is not modern, not most convenient, not the cutting edge, because there's a certain degree of character, charm, or comfort to using that thing, right? Like even vinyl records. Like what is the point of that? Like I have all the music in the world on my phone for $10 a month or whatever it costs now,
And you can create that crackle digitally. So
yeah. Yeah, there's plugins for that.
There's like apps for that. Yeah.
But my point in saying this is that people like those things for a reason, and they go out of their way and sacrifice comfort and a certain degree of money to experience things that are less convenient and less easy. And I think that there's a parallel to be drawn between that and consuming music actually made by people.
yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Those are 2 really, really good answers about AI. We've asked a lot of people that, but those are some of the best answers I think we've heard in terms of like
Let's
how,
go.
yeah.
Big brain.
Absolutely.
Smart, yeah.
Little brain boy had a thought. Little tiny brain boy had a thought.
First of the day.
Thought of the day.
So you've given us so much of your time. We do.
Wait, sorry. He's earned more talking
Yeah,
tokens.
I need
Yes,
more
you get 2 more
conversation tokens.
conversation tokens today. Good boy.
We so appreciate you giving us so much of your time. This has been awesome. We do want to get to the live performance, which I'm super stoked about. Before we get there, I'm just curious, have you had any like touring shenanigans or any like crazy road stories, any interactions with the fans that are wild, anything you want to leave us on that it was like a really funny story or a really interesting kind of thing that happened?
Oh my gosh, we were trying to like brainstorm things. We've not really like toured yet, so I feel like there's like the other day I was saying like I have a story I want to tell them, but I'm kind of waiting for there to be like no power or like for us to be lost and like in need of entertainment before I tell it, because I'm like saving it for that. But anyway, we were driving home from San Francisco the other day, and
Oh yeah.
Joey almost owed Quinn
We
$200.
played blackjack for like 6 hours.
Yeah, I turned around and I was like, all right, I'm housing blackjack. And there's 3 guys in the back of the car. And we were just playing for so long, and everyone was even. And Quinn just kept going up and up and up. And I was like, starting to actually sweat. I was like, holy shit.
I'm just driving while this is happening too, and I knew like as soon as the cards came out, I was like, they're gonna start with like $3 bets, and it's gonna be silly, and then someone's gonna owe somebody $100 by the end of this car ride.
It was
And
all
true.
even by the end of the day. It was
Yeah,
fun.
they evened
Friendly
it out.
game.
It's all fun and games until you owe a lot of money.
I
Oh my
felt
God.
I felt bad, so I was like, okay, one hand, $250. Let's do it right now, just to get
Yeah.
because I figured I would either lose or he'd owe me 500.
Oh yes, it sounds like you felt real bad.
I was like, either
Let me put him way deeper in the hole.
like,
Pretend to care for a second, and then secretly win $500.
either I throw the money away or I get a new leather jacket. Either
there you go.
way, either way.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
you
a
need
good
to
guy
replace
or I
that
get a
guitar you
leather
smashed.
jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I do need to
Literally.
fix that.
All right, well, let's get over to the live performance. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yay!
This was
Thank
awesome.
Thank you.
you.
This has been Pretty Ugly, and we
Our Sapo Studios. We seriously, we appreciate you guys very much taking your time and
Yay.
letting us into your space. That
Of
means
course.
a lot.
Of
Thank you.
course.
Thank
oh
you.
my
Because you
gosh.
guys kind of just like let us just do
It
whatever
looks
we
great.
wanted
so
to.
glad
It
it
looks
looks, I
amazing.
feel like I'm
Looks sweet.
Yeah,
famous.
Thank you
Finally.
very much. We are excited to see you guys play.
well,
Thanks.
as we established, you were born a star.
I was born a star. That's the merman. Anyway. Okay.
Cool.